And so I had all kinds of tests and nobody could figure out what was wrong. And so I was just sitting there thinking, this is going to be my life.
I'm going to feel like this forever.
For the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and I don't have like a lot of family out here. Like I have great friends, but it was a very lonely time.
Yeah.
And so I also understand that like the isolation that you feel, and you don't want to burden people all the time. Like keep talking about it. And so,
but also like it's your life.
But it's your life. Yeah. And I'll have patients all the time. They're like, I'm so sorry. I just come in here and complain. I'm like, where else are you going to do that?
Yeah.
Like,
it's literally my job.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can handle it.
Yeah.
Like it's okay. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. We are so excited to have Rachel Roylance Fletcher. Rachel Fletcher?
Yes.
Rachel Roylance.
I mean, eventually it will be probably Rachel, middle name Roylance Fletcher.
Okay. We're not there yet.
We're
Amazing.
Not there yet. I'm a little slow on the get-go, but
Rachel is one of our beloved PAs at Kirkpatrick Family Care. You've been with us for how long?
Since January of 2018, which
Wild.
is crazy to me.
Yep. I still remember when we went to, so I was home visiting my parents when I think you interviewed, and we had dinner at Urban Saloon back in the day. Was it Urban Saloon? No.
Because I remember we went to Guadalajara.
Oh.
So that must have been someone else.
It was, okay, but a different time.
But you were still like always like there in school and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember you from, the beginning of it all.
We go way back.
We go
is
way
what
back.
I'm saying.
Yes.
We wanted to just spend a little bit of time helping patients or prospective patients get to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
So would you mind just telling us a little bit about your childhood, your upbringing, early life, and then kind of how you found your way into medicine?
Yeah, of course. So I grew up in Broomfield, Colorado, which is like 15 minutes-ish north of Denver, near Boulder. I'm second of 6. I'm the oldest girl. So 3 boys, 3 girls. We're the Brady Bunch. But yeah, and it's kind of funny because growing up, I was self-conscious about having a big family, and now I love it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But yeah, so growing up, I did all kinds of stuff. I played volleyball, I ran cross country, I was in a lot of plays and musicals, which was really fun. Yeah, I still love musical theater and, going to musicals and stuff. But yeah, so then I was trying to decide what I wanted to do with my life, and I went to college at BYU in Provo. And initially I was, thinking I was going to be pre-medicine at some point. At that point, I didn't even know what a PA was. And I should have coordinated with a college counselor or something, but I just went in guns blazing and took high level courses of advanced biology and just all these things. And I was like, I can't do science. This is too hard. And so then I thought I was going to do public relations. So I switched to that.
Which you would also be amazing at, for the record.
But I was just like, what am I doing? I've always wanted to do medicine. I can do hard things.
Yeah.
And so then I went back to the public health major, and it was great. So it was just that college adjustment was hard. But
yeah.
So yeah, I studied public health, which was cool because we studied chronic disease prevention and infectious disease, which is very applicable to what I do in my everyday life now.
Yeah.
Even epidemiology and just kind of systems of health. But and then I was in an intro to health professions class when I found out what a physician assistant was. And when I had I was debating between medical school and PA school, and it was just PA just felt like it had all of the pros of what I wanted. Didn't have at the time. I was just like, do I really want to do all of medical school and a residency? I just didn't know. I wanted the flexibility, and so I then had to do patient care hours and do all of that. So, I was a physical therapy tech. I was a front office at a mental health clinic. I was a dental assistant. I was a medical assistant for an ENT. I tried it all out just to make sure that that's what I wanted to do. And so then I applied for PA school, and I got into USC in Los Angeles. And so I moved to California at 24, not knowing anybody. And hindsight, I'm like, I wouldn't even do that now. I can't believe I did that at 24. But yeah, so I moved to LA by myself with random roommates in a house in Pasadena, California. So Yeah, it was a wild time. I do not miss the traffic, but yeah, it was really cool to just be able to take care of all, facets of human life, right? Yeah. Every socioeconomic class, every, ethnicity. It was fascinating. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I did rotations all the way from West LA and Santa Monica to San Bernardino and, everything in between. So, yeah, it was a good time. And then it was actually interesting because when I graduated, I thought I was going to go back to Colorado to work. And just at the time, it was not a great environment for new grads, getting jobs. And so my uncle actually knew your dad.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. So he was a pharmaceutical rep and he covered Utah and the Northwest. And so they were good friends and at the time. And, he said that his niece was looking for a job. And so that's how we connected.
That's
which is
crazy.
Kind of funny, right? Yeah. Like hindsight, like how that all worked out. And again, like I didn't know anybody in the Northwest. Yeah. I hadn't really spent any time here either. But one of my best friends from PA school and I moved out here together, which was fun. And it's been 7 years since then, which is crazy. Wow. Yeah.
Wild. And you have now met your husband.
Yes, I met my husband, which is a miracle because I don't know if anybody else has tried to date in Portland. It's not great.
Not easy. Yeah.
Not easy. So we met in the late 2021 during COVID and we got married in June of 23. And so he's awesome. He's the best.
So great.
Yeah.
Okay, backtracking.
Yeah.
The musical theater thing.
Yeah.
What are some roles that you have played?
Oh, okay.
And or favorite musicals?
Okay, okay. Let's see. When I was in 4th grade, I was Annie and Annie.
Nice.
So that was my first claim to fame. It was very fun. And it was also just really cool that we had such a good program, even in an elementary school, to put on such a production. And then I played Eulalie Shin in The Music Man.
Nice.
I was like a hotbox girl in Guys and Dolls. I was in Pirates of Penzance. In high school, I was in West Side Story. I was in the I Feel Pretty trio, which was fun.
That is fun.
And then my senior year of high school, I was in oh my gosh, why can't I think of the name of it? Crazy for You. Crazy for You. So, and I was actually the lead. So I was Polly in that. So
fun.
Yeah. And then ever since then, I keep telling myself, I'm going to get back into community theater. And it's just, I haven't done it, but it's still on my list. I'm still going to do it. I actually am in voice lessons now though, because
sweet.
I was like, you know what, even if I'm not in a production, I want to sing. I want to, do that. So as far as favorites, Les Mis is always incredible. One time I was in New York.
Your heart open.
Yes. And I was with some friends and we had just gotten nosebleed seats and we went to go get our tickets from the box office and they were like, do you guys want to sit 5th row? And we were like, well, what's that going to cost? And they were like, oh no, somebody just can't come. And so they said to give it to the next people. And so that was
wow,
amazing. 5th row on Broadway.
On Broadway.
For Les Mis. So that was incredible.
Oh,
yeah.
Wild.
But, Wicked's great.
So good.
Waitress, love Waitress. A mix of the new and the old. Phantom of the Opera love.
Oh, so good.
I love them all.
You love them all. Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what do you love about primary care?
Yeah. Okay. So this is interesting. I never thought I was going to do primary care. I went to a primary care program. And so all of my rotations were primary care, but I was one of those typical, I'm going to work in derm, I feel like everybody graduates and thinks they're going to be in derm. But when this opportunity came along, I was a little nervous because it was primary care, just because it's so vast, right? You have to know so much about so many things. Mm-hmm. But what I've come to find out is that's what I also love about it, is it's so different every day, even every patient, right? And just kind of that feeling oh, wow, anything that walks through the door, I at least know where to go to figure out what to do for them. Mm-hmm. And that's a really cool feeling. Yeah. It's very rewarding, I would say. I think it's also nice that because, we're treating the whole person. Mm-hmm. And so it's not, specialists, obviously we need them, but it would be very hard for me to be your blood pressure's high, but go back to your
not
primary
my
care
job.
for that. Yeah. What are they going to have a stroke? You know what I mean? So, Yeah, I like that. I love the relationships.
Yeah.
And that's what has kept me here. It's like, I need to be for these people. Like, what's going to happen, you know? And so it's been very like, yeah, again, like rewarding and humbling to be there for people when family members pass away or just, you know, hard things come and you are kind of like their first line of people that they talk to when the going gets tough and you're there for them. And it's been, I love primary care now. So
on the relationship piece, I heard a story today from my brother.
Yeah.
He told me that he had a patient who I think he and his wife, or maybe just his wife, are patients of yours, but they had moved or have moved to Grants Pass, and they are traveling back to Longview for their healthcare because they love you.
Oh my gosh, so, you're gonna make me cry. That is so sweet.
Isn't that sweet? Yeah. I'm curious what you think. I mean, it's very sweet, and it's not an uncommon thing to hear about you. I think like your patients seriously love you. And I'm curious, how do you think you got there? Like, how do you think you built that level of rapport and relationships with these people?
You know, I've like my whole life, I've just like loved people and just, I remember I was in elementary school and I made a book of all my friends. And it was like their birthday and their address and their phone number. And I like drew a picture of them. Like, I just have always like wanted people in my life. And I think that's just how I see these people. They're just like, they're new people in my life that I like, and I want everybody to be taken care of. And you know what, but especially in medicine, my grandpa growing up had Parkinson's disease. And so he had Parkinson's disease like the entirety of my childhood that I can remember. I mean, for as long as I can remember, he walked at a 90-degree angle and was in immense pain and just, and it was horrible. And he unfortunately lived in an area where like there just wasn't great care. And so and I was just like, you know, I'm going to make a difference for somebody's grandpa. Like as cliche as that sounds, like that has always been a driving factor for me, where I'm just like, you know, these people, they've got family members that maybe don't live like near here. And they're just like hoping that like somebody, it makes a difference for them, like actually cares about them. And so, I mean, I kind of see it as an honor to be able to help them. And I'm just I'm obviously a talker. I'm a people person. And so, it's just fun to get to know them. And I never want anybody to feel like they're just a number or I'm too busy for them. And so, I also just I would hope that they leave feeling like I've, you know, really tried to listen and understand what they need from me, and that I can do something for them. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
You are also quite the traveler.
Yes.
Where is next, and what are some of your favorite trips from the year?
Yeah. Okay. So I just recently went to San Diego for a friend's bachelorette party, which was very fun.
I feel like you're in a lot of weddings. I feel like that's always a sign of a good friend who is well loved when they're in a lot of weddings. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. 27 dresses, like
that's your life.
Hard. It hit hard for me. I love weddings. Anybody wants me to be in their wedding, I will be in your wedding. As far as like what's next, I want to go to Europe so bad. I've never been to Europe. Obviously, it's like a big trip. I would also just love to go anywhere like tropical, like Ross and I have talked about, even just like going to Mexico, just lay on a beach somewhere. But but I also just love even like a road trip. Like I would love to go to like Glacier National Park in Montana, or you know, just things like that. My sister came to visit last September, and we did Olympic National Park. It's just
pretty.
Like we have so much within driving distance of us, so it's amazing. I mean, my family's in Colorado. I've got family in Utah. I've got family in Georgia. So I've also got plenty of family to go visit too.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy lady. Is there any like last minute things you would want to just tell or express to your patients or prospective patients about your life, about you, about medicine? Any last final thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I've been in your shoes. Like I'm sure a lot of my patients know this, but I, for a long time, did not feel well and just did not know what was wrong with me. And like being in the medical field, like it's really a weird thing, because you think, oh, like the rare stuff won't happen to me. So it's nothing. And eventually I did find out that I had a tumor in my pituitary gland and I had Cushing's disease. And so I had brain surgery back in 2019. And luckily I feel well now, but I will never like disregard, like, you know, your body better than anybody.
That's so good.
And so I will always take that into account. I feel like so many times patients go into doctor's offices and it's the brush off, you know, you're fine, you know, eat better, lose weight. Like, and that's not always what's going on.
It's like, yes. And
of course those are good things, but you know, there's other ththings going on too.
Yeah. So, okay. I feel like I have to ask I have a couple questions about that. Like, first of all, what was that like being on the other end of, because you were practicing PA.
I was, and it was COVID. Like, and it was.
Oh, wild.
Yeah, it was. Well, okay, so it was 2019, so it was right before COVID.
Okay.
Luckily, I was able to have my surgery before COVID because it would have been, you know, delayed. But it was hard. Yeah. Like, I was so exhausted. I was so anxious. And so I get the anxiety of just not knowing what is wrong with you and like feeling like, where's the urgency here? You know, like, that's why, like, if I get, you know, lab results, I try and call them right away. Like, I understand that they're waiting on that.
People are waiting on those things. Yeah.
Right. Like, they're like delaying vacations. They're doing, because they're so worried about their health. Yeah. And so that's always top of mind for me. So it was, I don't know. Like, I've been through a lot of hard things. I'm like, if I can get through that, like, I can get through anything. And so I'm just, I feel like I am a much better, not only person, but provider, friend after going through that.
Because, like, not even in spite of, but like there was a blessing to that huge
like,
challenge.
I learned empathy, like, head on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Like, I had to go from specialist to specialist. Nobody believed me. Yeah. They were like, no, this is fine. So rare. This is so rare. Like, one doctor was like, this is 4 in a million. Like, you don't have this. And I'm like, I think it's just underdiagnosed. Yeah. But.
Or maybe I'm one of the 4. Like, it does happen.
Right. And honestly, luckily, I mean, your dad was really helpful in getting me up to University of Washington so that I could see a specialist, you know, in neuroendocrinologist.
Knew what they were doing.
Like, specialist. And so. Yeah, but
that's wild. I think that there really is no replacement for going through something like that. Like, as much as we would try to be empathetic, and I still think that's so great, but like when you've really gone through that, and like you said, that like that anxiety of no one knows what's wrong with me. I still feel these things,
right?
And no one's working on this, and I'm just like,
right. Like, when you have high cortisol levels, you have to figure out what's causing it. And if you can't figure out what's causing it, there's no cure.
Yeah.
And so I had all kinds of tests and nobody could figure out what was wrong. And so I was just sitting there thinking, this is going to be my life.
I'm going to feel like this forever.
For the rest of my life. Yeah. Right. And so, and I don't have like a lot of family out here. Like, I have great friends, but it was a very lonely time. Yeah. And so I also understand that, like, the isolation that you feel, and you don't want to burden people all the time. Like, keep talking about it, and so.
But also, like, it's your life.
But it's your life, yeah. And I'll have patients all the time that are like, "I'm so sorry, just come in here and complain." I'm like, "Where else are you going to do that?"
Yeah, like, it's literally my job.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I can handle it. Yeah. Like, it's okay. So.
Yeah. That's so good. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for your time. We love you. We're so blessed and thankful to have you, and grateful for all the work you do for our patients.
Yeah. Glad to be here. Love it.
Thanks.